Hello my dear students, today in this video I will be discussing some questions from exercise 1.3 and some more questions from examples. Okay, so I have taken the first question, show that root 2 is irrational. So whenever we are going to get this type of questions that we have to prove something to be irrational, we will be proving it by a technique which is called proof by contradiction. Now what is contradiction? Here whatever we want to prove, okay, we will just take the opposite of that one. Suppose here we have to prove that root 2 is irrational, but we will be starting our sum by supposing that root 2 is rational. So the thing that needs to be proved will not be taken, okay, the reverse will be taken. Root 2 is rational, we will start with that particular statement, and then ultimately we will arrive at such a conclusion where we will see that whatever supposition we have taken that ultimately leads to such a statement which is not possible. So that contradiction will come at a particular step, and then we have to consider that our supposition was wrong, and then we will be considering that whatever we have taken is wrong and the reverse way is correct. So we will be starting with root 2 is rational, and ultimately we will arrive at a contradiction, and then we will conclude that our supposition is wrong and hence root 2 is irrational. Now how to proceed in this type of sums? Okay, so here first we will start by considering that root 2 is rational. So let us suppose that root 2 is rational. Now all of you know that if something a number is in a rational number, then it can definitely be expressed in the p by q form. Okay, then what we can write? Then root 2 is equal to p by q, where p and q are integers, q not equal to 0, and one more thing, and p and q are co-prime, okay. Now what is co-prime? Co-prime means these two numbers we are considering co-prime. No, co-prime means these two numbers don't share any common factor other than 1, okay. They will not be having any prime factor common to both of them, okay, clear? So we are considering that p and q are co-prime. So the next step we will be squaring both the sides. So you need to write here squaring both the sides. Now ultimately 2 is equal to p square, 2 is equal to p square by q square, implies 2q square is equal to p square, okay. 2q square equal to p square. Now here we have considered, we have arrived here that at that particular stage where we are getting that 2q square is equal to p square. Now 2q square, definitely it is a multiple, this entire number is having 2 with it, 2 into q square. So definitely this is an even number, means it will be divided by 2. Now 2q square, if this entire number 2q square is divisible by 2, then this value and this value are same, so p square is also divisible by 2. It means that we can write in the next step that 2 divides p square. Why? Because 2 divides 2q square, so 2 divides p square. So next step what we can write is, you can pause the video and write it down, okay. So what is the next step? This is our second part, no? So 2 divides p square, 2 divides p square. It means that 2 divides p. Now how we can write this one? If 2 divides p square, 2 divides p, there is one theorem which states that if p is a prime number p, okay, if there is a prime number p and which divides a square, then that prime number will be dividing a also. So here 2 is a prime number which is dividing p square, so 2 will divide p also. Since a prime, since if a prime number p divides a square, then p divides a. Okay, so here 2 is dividing p square, so 2 divides p. Now if 2 divides p, okay, 2 divides p, then definitely p can be written as 2c, means p is dividing 2 is dividing p, isn't it? Definitely p has to be an even number. In this context I am saying that it is an even number because 2 divides p, so p will be a multiple of 2. So can I write p is equal to 2c for some integer c, okay, and I am considering this to be my equation number 1. Is this step clear to all of you? See, if a number 2 is dividing p, suppose if I say that 2 divides 16, 2 divides 16, okay, then 2 is dividing our number 16, isn't it? So can I write, see, 16 is again 4 square, so 2 divides 4 also, isn't it? So can I write 4 is equal to 2 into something, isn't it? 2 into something, 2 is dividing 4, so 4 is definitely a multiple of 2, so 2 into something. That's why I have written p is equal to 2c. Clear? 2c. Now here we have written, isn't it, p by q, we got 2q square is equal to p square. This was the place, see, this was the last step, isn't it? 2q square is equal to p square we were having lastly. So what I am going to do is, I am going to put this value of p in this equation. We were having 2q square, instead of p can I write 2c whole square? Okay, see, we were having 2q square is equal to p square. You can, no need to write implies, we can write now. Okay, now 2q square is equal to p square was there, earlier we got this one, isn't it? So 2q square, instead of p I am putting the value of p as 2c whole square. So what we will be getting, 2q square is equal to 4c square. Now I can cancel this 2. So ultimately what we are getting, q square equal to 2c square. Again the same thing. See here, 2c square, it means that c square is divisible by 2c square is divisible by 2, means 2 divides this one, it means that 2 divides q square, 2 divides q square, isn't it? So 2 is dividing q square, so ultimately what we can write, 2 divides q. So here third part we can write 2 divides q. Now here I can write q is equal to 2c for some integer we can write, we can, no need to take c only, we can take 2d also for some integer d. So from 1 and 2 what we are getting ultimately, see, this was our equation number 1, we got that p is equal to 2c, and here this is our equation number 2 where I am getting q is equal to 2d. Now from these two statements, what we can conclude, that 2 is the prime number which is a common factor of both P and Q. But ultimately, in the first line we have considered that P and Q are co-prime. They cannot share any common factor. They are having the common factor 2. It means that whatever we have considered, that is wrong. Okay. Therefore, from 1 and 2 we find that P and Q both are having the common factor, common prime factor we can write, isn't it? Common prime factor 2. So this contradicts the fact that P and Q are co-prime. So what we can say, therefore our supposition was wrong. Our supposition was wrong. So our supposition was wrong means what we have to conclude. Hence what we can say, hence root 2 is irrational, because we have considered that root 2 is rational and ultimately we arrive at a contradiction. Hence our supposition was wrong. Therefore we can say that yes, root 2 is irrational. So here is the second question from exercise 1.3. Prove that 3 plus 2 root 5 is irrational. So you already know how to prove root 2 is irrational. The same way we can prove that root 5 is irrational. Okay. The similarly we can prove that root 5 is also irrational. The same procedure, everything will be just same. Okay. Now if you don't have only one simple number, but here see it is the combination of rational and irrational, and you have to prove that this entire number is ultimately an irrational number. Okay. So here also we have to prove by the method of contradiction. Okay. So solution, let us suppose, okay, let us suppose that 3 plus 2 root 5 is rational. Then 3 plus 2 root 5 is equal to P by Q or A by B. Let us take A by B this time. Okay, is equal to A by B, where A and B are integers, B not equal to 0, and what else, and A and B are co-primes. Okay. So here also after that we have to go for some sort of simplification. So 2 root 5 is equal to A by B minus 3. So 2 root 5 is equal to A minus 3B by, let us take this one directly here, 2B. Now what we are finding here, see A, 3B, 2B, all these are integers only. So here integers are being subtracted and then divided. Definitely these are also going to be, this A minus 3B will also be an integer, 2B is also an integer, and since B is not equal to 0, 2B is not equal to 0. So ultimately can we say that the number on the right hand side is also a rational number, because A minus 3B and 2B are integers and 2B is not equal to 0. It satisfies all the conditions for being a rational number. Okay, so it means that this is rational number. But here what about root 5? root 5 is not rational, it is irrational. So if a number on the right hand side is rational, it has to be we have taken that this is rational, isn't it? Root 5 is rational, it is also getting rational. Okay, we are considering that this is rational, isn't it? This entire number is rational, but we know that root 5 is irrational. Root 5 is irrational. So this is irrational, this is rational. This is a contradictory case, isn't it? So what we can write? Since A and since A minus 3b by 2b is a rational number, root 5 is also a rational number, which is a contradiction. Which is a contradiction? Why it is a contradiction? Since we know that as root 5 is irrational. You can go for, you can go for any sort of statements. Okay, I am writing in this manner. You can change your statements according to your convenience. Since A minus 3b by 2b is a rational number, root 5 is also a rational number, which is a contradiction as root 5 is irrational. So whatever we have considered, isn't it? Hence we are arriving at a contradiction. So whenever we are arriving at contradiction, we have to consider that whatever we have supposed is wrong. Okay, so what next? Take it down. So what we will say now? Hence our supposition was wrong. Therefore, 3 plus 2 root 5 is irrational. Hence, so here it is